what I've been doing for the last, we started this in actually technically in 2013 with Gitcoin. I keep forgetting what grant round that was, but Gitcoin grant round in November. And I've been in Web3, and that's how we know each other. And grants are really big in Web3. I discovered AI and started using it early on because I was literally like forced to use it because I had no people and I wanted to just do stuff faster. And so I started using AI. And I'm like, okay, this is an amazing technology. How can we use it outside of my just what I'm doing with it? And then I realized that people in Web3, grants are big, but people in Web3 aren't very good at communicating their ideas. Like, this is something that like, this sounds naturally to me for some reason. And in between, even before, like when my first round was taking place, when I first fundraised on Gitcoin, I think second round actually, I offered help to people that I'm happy to look at your proposals and happy to tell you how to edit and be more effective in your communication. And this was all like back in 2022, right? And so 2023, I'm like, okay, people really don't know how to communicate ideas, right? This is a serious problem. And so how can we use AI for that? And also because Gitcoin fundraising is pretty global, there are people from Africa, Turkey, and all these places whose English is not their first language. So how can we help them? So that was the whole thesis behind it. And we started like a really simple thing where you just enter your project idea and AI will write like a one pager, because for Gitcoin, you don't need more than like a small script of what is it that you're seeking funding for. So it was very designed for Gitcoin. It was eligibility criteria was hard coded, which Gitcoin didn't know, but anybody who went through us, if they didn't meet the eligibility, they couldn't really participate in the round. Like they could otherwise, but it was told to them like, hey, you don't fit or meet this eligibility, you can't participate in this round, which was pretty cool as well, because it really saves time on both ends. And then that was November. And then 2024, I built it out for the nonprofit sector because that grants are really big in the nonprofit world. I come from that space and I've seen it's literally survival. If you don't raise grant funding, you have to shut your doors. So we built it out and their proposals are far more complex. They're like 10 pages long and you have to answer so many hundreds of different things. So basically, it's a really cool product because what you can do is you can simply describe. I can show you here, write your grant minutes. You can simply, this is a new interface, by the way, and I'm serious right now doing a lot of bug fixing. There are a few things, we just launched this 2 or 3 days ago, and so it's still being worked upon. But you can just say, create a grant, and you just, you basically, as I said, I've said this before, we do honor testing on cats. You can just
People to cats on the internet.
yeah, and people love cats. My engineers have sent cats to the moon and they've got them living in mystical lands and they've done also testing on this, what the world should look like. But this is what it is, right? A grant to help feed stray cats in Vancouver. And then you just describe your project. And if you want to help stray cats for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, you can provide a bit of a timeline, how much you're requesting for funding and all that. And it just creates an outline, which basically you review the outline and then you go down to creating a whole proposal. And then we have there are many other agents that are working here. This is all AI powered. Everything is AI powered. Like every single piece that's happening here is AI powered. So this validation wizard will basically validate your proposal against the funders' giving criteria. All funders have criteria, right? Like focus areas and stuff like that. And so it's really cool. Like this is your dashboard, this is your grant library, and you can search for grants. Say you want to search for crypto or this thing. So these are grants that have been curating, which I think are more popular grants. Or I don't have any logic right now how I curate grants, but I just find grants that should be here on GrantOrb. And so we, like for instance, this is a grant, this Crypto for Good fund of Mercy Corp Ventures. And these are the set of questions they ask in the grant application form. So we've got an AI to take their application form and create a similar one on our platform so people can write it in minutes, right? They can just describe their
Awesome. Yeah.
here and they can write it in minutes. And then we have examples too, because sometimes people don't know what to say there. So we've got, it's so guided. I can't tell you, like, I don't think many realize that we have these examples too, that they can look at that example and know how to write that section. But they don't even need to do that because all they have to do is dump the thoughts here, basically. Dump it here. And the AI creates an outline. You review the outline. And once you're happy with that outline, you basically go and say, I want to create an entire grant.
Wow.
Generate the proposal. It also does line item budgeting, which is automatic. You don't have to sit and assume what kind of expenses will go into doing this project. So that's pretty cool because that's also a very time-consuming piece. And what we've seen with nonprofits, especially, is that they always under ask. For some reason, they don't ask the full amount. And so they will always cut corners here and there, and they'll ask less than what they need. And when they get the money, they're not able to do a good job of the project because they didn't cover all the expenses. So here, AI knows precisely based on your proposal what kind of expenses will go in. And so you don't even have to think, okay, these are the expenses. I need to budget all of these expenses. So that's grant library. And then we have AI grant search coming, which is super cool.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not like a Google search. It's like I'm calling it the Scout, Grant Scout. It's scouting opportunities for you, for your mission. So you basically you can set up an organization.
You said Scout, Grant Scout.
Yeah, a Grant Scout. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's cool. Yeah, cool
Yeah,
name.
we wanted to differentiate from search because we don't want people to confuse like Google search with grant search, like AI grant search. So I think scouting helps differentiate the fact that it's different. It's not the same thing as search. It's automatic. Once you set up your organization profile here, the agent goes out and scouts for opportunities for you and sends it over to you. You just have to say, yeah, I'm interested in all of these. And then an AI will create templates for them. And then you just basically fill up those templates by describing your idea in few words. It could be just keywords as well. Need 10,000 medical supplies. Basically, whatever the keywords of the project are. And it writes the grant for you. And it does validation. It tells you which sections are weak, which sections you need to strengthen. So it's very like smooth, very smooth. And it's all completely assisted by AI. Like you're still the director